Hi CFAM, compliments of the season, Dimma here, and in this tutorial I will be sharing with you how I made this lovely drawstring jacket that you can see on the screen. Here I'm just trying to lace it up. You can also wear it without lacing it up. You can see how beautiful this jacket is looking. It's actually versatile while styling. You can wear it with jean, chino, or just style it the way you wish to style it. It is really trendy, stylish, gorgeous, and wow, I don't know the best adjective to use to describe this jacket, but it's really a lovely jacket. You can see how I combine the fabric to make this beautiful style. If this sounds like what you've been interested in knowing how I did it, then you have to stick around till the end. Do not cut any part of this video to see every part of and every bit of the things I did to achieve this lovely jacket. So let's go right into it. Now here, this is the fabric that I'll be using for this lovely jacket. The fabric has two prints. As you can see, I have the multicolored part and the red and black parts. Now what I used to make this jacket is about 2 yards. It's 3 yards actually. It's 3 yards, but what I have here is 2 yards. But I still added extra 1 yard to make up the quantity of fabric that I need for this jacket. Here I will be dividing this 2 yards into two. And after dividing it, I will be using 1 yard out of this two to cut the back and the other 1 yard to cut the front. An extra 1 yard to, make up whatever I need to add to this lovely jacket. So watch me through it all and see what I did to achieve this jacket. So now I'm just folding the fabric just like so. If you are size 12 and above, you definitely need 3 yards or even more if it's around size 18. But if it's less than size 12, 2.5 yards will be enough. But if it's even as low as size 8, you may be able to use 2 yards to achieve this lovely jacket. Here I have placed my front pattern on the folded fabric, and the neckline of this front pattern is 4 by width, just as I'm measuring, and 3 by neck drop. I hope you understand. So 4 inches width, and here is the shoulder line. I have marked 10 inches from the shoulder tip as where the sleeve will be getting to. It's a cut together kimono, obviously. So here I'm cutting out the neckline. I'm cutting the back first, and the shoulder tip there I came up by 1/2 inch before I drew the shoulder line. I hope you understand. Here I'm cutting it with 1/2 inch allowance on that shoulder line. I'm just trying to measure and ensure that everything is in place the way they are supposed to be before I continue cutting. Now I'm just extending this sleeve line by 10 inches. I just marked the 10-inch mark, and I'll come in by 3/4 inch, and then I had to get this line to the hemline. But when I got to around the hip, I curved my hand by about 1 inch to the knee line, like shaping a skirt. I hope you understand. Now that is what I did and connected to the hemline, which is the knee level. Okay. Now, having done that, the next thing I did is just to pin this pattern in place to ensure it doesn't move as I continue with the process of this pattern making and cutting. Now I cut here with 1 inch and the side of the jacket with 1 inch seam allowance. I'll cut open the center back just as you can see me do, and yes, this completes the back pattern. As easy as that. I'm going ahead to unpin the pattern paper and then put notches where they are supposed to be. I'm just marking the back side so that I won't have to be looking for where the wrong or the right side of the fabric is when I am stitching. Because this fabric, the front and the back, is really confusing to pinpoint at a glance. Okay, now that I have finished the back pattern, I have gone ahead to fold up the other 1 yard that I kept aside, and I will be placing the back on it. This is how you would do yours to achieve your own as well. Now place it properly and cut out just exactly what you have for the back before I modified further. Beautiful. Now this is what it is like, and I had to put my notches in place. I'm also marking the wrong side so that I don't have to look for it when I'm ready to sew. Now I just dropped that neckline to be like, so what it gave me now is more like 4 to 3, 4 inches by width and 3 inches by neck drop. That is the first thing I did, and I cut it out for the front neckline. Now here I was taking 1.5 inches mark, but I tried to blend it up with the neckline, and I noticed that it's not giving me exactly what I wanted, so I had to mark 2 inches. So here I'm marking 2 inches, which is the final measurement I used for this point, and I connected it to the neck. Remember that the neck width is 4 inches. Now this is how I connected it, and I cut it out, just like so. Now having cut it out, I'll just go ahead and notch the front part so that it will be easy to notice at a glance that this is actually the front part of the pattern. Now here I have 10 inches. I'm going to cut fabric that will be at least up to 24 inches long, but by width 2.5 inches after folding. As I folded this fabric like so, is 2.5 inches by width like this, and the length should be at least 24 inches. That is for the band that I'll be adding to the sleeve. That tip of the sleeve, I'll be adding this more like a band to finish the hem of the sleeve, the end of the sleeve. You will see how I am going to use this. So it will make the final length of the sleeve to get to 12 inches, more like the elbow length. I'm cutting 2 of these so that I'll use one for the back and use the second one for, use one for one sleeve and use the second one for the other sleeve. Yes, this is for the 2 sleeves. Now this is the interfacing I'll be using, the tissue paper say. That is what I'll be using to structure that, that pattern, that piece that I just cut out. So here I am trying to measure another 2.5 inches. This will be for the neckline. In essence, you're supposed to measure around the front neck to the hem to know the length of fabric that you need. Okay, you can actually cut longer than the length that you need so that after fixing you can trim off any excess. Here I'm cutting the other side of the pattern, so I have the red and black side and also the multicolor side. Now this is what I'll be using for the neckline. I'll keep the remaining pattern piece aside and continue with the pattern making. Here is supposed to be the lining, but I'm not using lining for this jacket, so I am using this black cotton lining for a facing. I want to add a facing to the jacket. So watch closely how I'm going to cut the facing. So this is how I'm cutting the facing. Just place yours like this and cut it out like so. Now after cutting it out, you just measure 5 inches all through from the shoulder side to the hem side. Here I'm just measuring 5 inches, so I want 5 inches with facing, and I'm connecting it like so, and I will be cutting it out. I'll be cutting it out. So just as you have seen, I have cut it out, and this is what I have. I'm about to cut the back facing, just as you can see. Watch closely to see how I cut the back facing. So this is how I folded the back, and I placed it like so, and I'm going ahead to cut it out. Cut yours out like so, and put the notch where necessary. So here I'm marking 5 inches as well to rhyme with the front facing, and I blended it up to the rest of the facing like so. Now, having done that, I will just go ahead and interface all of them. I've applied the interfacing, the tissue paper stay on all of them. Now, having applied it, this is what I have. Now I'm going on to cut the pocket. I'm also marking the wrong side of the fabric so that I won't be looking out for where the wrong side or the right side is. Actually, I measured 11 1/4 to 13 3/4. So here I'm measuring 11 1/4 and 13, I think 13 3/4 or 13 1/4. That is what I used there for the width and the depth of the pocket. Now here is the depth and here is the width of the pocket. I'll go ahead to cut, the second side of the pocket, and after that I will just go ahead and start joining the pattern pieces together. The first thing I'll do is to apply the pockets. Watch closely to see the pockets that I cut out. I cut out for the 2 colors, and this is how I decided to place it. I'm taking a level where I want to place the pockets, and I've ended up placing it at 18.5 inches mark. 18.5 inches mark. That is where I place this pocket. I will fold it in like so. Now the entry of the pocket will be folded in by at least 1 inch, but I used 1 1/4 inch to hem the entry of the pocket. Now what I did is just to notch where the pocket level is so that while placing it, it will be easy. I've gone ahead to serge the whole pocket and, hem that entry and iron down 1/2 inch on the other sides so that it will be very easy to pin down and to stitch down. The entry, I hemmed it with 1 1/4 inches. Now I'm just positioning it where I want, which is about 1.5 to 2 inches from that center front. It's 2 inches from that center front. 1/2 inch there will be going in for a seam allowance. Okay, so in essence I have 1.5 inch space from that center front. Now I'm pinning it down in place so that stitching it down will be very easy and seamless. Now this is what I have, and I will be pinning down the second side of the pocket 2 inches away from that center front. And note that the pocket is at the level of 18.5 inches. I chose 18.5 inches because of the length of the jacket. If not, I would have placed it at 19.5 inches, but that will make it to be too close to the hem of the pocket. Usually, when you have a half length, front half length, you place your pocket about 2 to 2.5 inches from the half length, front half length, okay? So now this is what I have, and this is the back side of the pattern. I will just go ahead and stitch it down with 3/4 inch seam allowance, and that is what I just did, and I also serged it. Now, having done that and having fixed the pockets for the front side, I will just go ahead and place the front on the back like so and stitch the shoulder line. You can see how the black and red side is rhyming and the multicolor side is also rhyming. Now I'll go ahead and put my band. You can see the sleeve. That is where I'll be applying this. Okay, this is the piece that I cut out earlier, which is about 2.5 inches by width. I've applied it now, and I will go ahead. I've gone ahead to serge it. Now you can see that it's longer than the space that it is meant for. I intentionally did that. It's on purpose. I did it so that when I want to cut it out and shape it to rhyme with the side, I will not fall short of fabric. Now that is what I did. If you like, you top stitch there, but I don't want to top stitch mine. Okay, so I'll just trim it like this and see how seamless it's looking. I'll go ahead and trim the opposite side, that is the other sleeve, and you will also see how seamless it will be looking. Now, having done this, I will go ahead and close up the side. I will close up the side but leave about 1.5 inches to the hem unstitched. I'll stop the stitch 1.5 inches to the hem, and this is it. Okay, there is open. You will understand why I left there open. It's mainly because of the drawstring that I want to add. That is why I did not get to the hem right now. Watch closely to see what I am doing. There are a lot of sewing tips here, sewing techniques that you definitely learn from. Now this is the collar that I'll be stitching from the hem of the front till round the neckline to the other side of the hem. Okay, I'll be joining it like so and adding up to the length, because the length is not up to the amount I need it. So I added up to the length and I will be applying it to the neckline. Now you can see what I have here. I'm just trying to figure out, this is actually how I'll place it, but I finally placed it. I was trying to figure out whether I will place each side maybe on the opposite color of it, if you understand what I mean, but I ended up placing it like this, just as you can see it, so that the red and white side will rhyme with the red and black side, while the multicolor side is also rhyming with the multicolor color side. So now this is what I have after stitching it down. This is what I have, and I've gone ahead to finish one side of this collar, the hem side. Okay, now look at what I did. I cut it out like this, okay, a bit shorter than the hemline, and I folded it up like this and stitched it down, and that is how I got this, and I will stitch it to get to the hem. So that is how I got what I got. You see what I have? So it's about 3/4 or 1/2 inch away from the hem of this jacket. Now, having done that, the next thing to do is to go ahead and stitch the facing, because I'll be applying the facing next. I've joined the back side of the facing like so and ironed open the center back. Now I'm joining the shoulder parts of this facing. I've joined it and I've also ironed it open, just as you can see. Do yours like that to ensure that your seams are lying flat and well for you. Now watch how I'm going to blend that place. I've blended it and I'll just go ahead and serge round it. Now I've serged it, I'll just place it like so. From the center back, I'm going to pin it down round to the front side. I'm going to pin it down all through and also stitch it down. You can see how I held it. I've stitched it down here and I also had to go ahead to serge it, okay? If you don't have a serging machine, no problem. You can just stitch it down and notch it just as I'm notching it, because the facing will cover the roughness, the rough parts of the seam. But I just felt like serging it and keeping everything together and neat. So having done that, I'm just notching it all through round the neckline. After notching it down, I will go ahead and top stitch. See how I'm pushing the seam allowance towards the facing side and I top stitched. Now that I've top stitched, this is what I have. Watch closely to see what I'm doing. I will just go ahead and flip over the facing and then stitch it. Watch closely to see what I did here. I flipped it over like this and I will be stitching it down. Now I've stitched it down. Cut every excess thread. Don't leave thread in while working. Cut, sew and press. Cut, sew and press. Now this is what I have. I'll just go ahead and hem it now, still leaving that side open. That opening I left for the drawstring, still leave it open and just hem all the sides, all the hem of the jacket, but leave the side open. Now I've gone ahead to hem it all through. This is now when I'm going to close that opening I left. That's 1.5 inch opening. Yes, here. This is when I will close it up. I've closed it up. The next thing I will do is just to open up that place and iron it open, because this is the time I will be putting the drawstring. I'm just trying to measure where I want the drawstring to be. I finally, decided to put it at the 11 inches mark, okay? 11 inches from the hem. That is where I positioned the drawstring. Here I measured 9, but I ended up not using the 9, right? I'm just trying to see, the length that will be enough for the drawstring. And for the drawstring, the final length was 32. Here it was 34 by 2 inches. 2 inches width, 34 inches length. I'm just measuring 2 inches all through here and I'll cut it out. Now I made 4 pieces of this. 2 inches by 34 inches, okay? I made 4 pieces of it for the 4 drawstrings that I'll be needing. Here you can see the 4 pieces, and you will also see how I'll be folding it like so. This is how I folded it and ironed it down before you stitch down. Do the same thing for yours before you stitch down. Here I've ironed it. I'm just knitting up the tip side, the side that will be coming out, okay? I will fold it in before folding it up, just like so. Now I've stitched it down. The next thing is to apply the drawstring by the side. Okay, I'll place it like so and I will take it to the 11 inches mark. 11 inches mark. That is where I finally added it. You can extend your own to 12 inches or even 13 inches, okay? Now just place it like so, and first of all stitch it to that sewing allowance and then close it up. But when you are stitching it closed, like the sides of the hem, ensure that your stitch does not touch the lacing. Okay, now after stitching it down to close up where the drawstrings are, this is what I have. You can see how it's looking. Ensure you are careful with the stitching so that your seam does not touch any part of the drawstring. If not, it will hold it from dragging. Okay, you can see what it's looking like. Very beautiful and lovely. This is so trendy, stylish, gorgeous. Like, the beautiful adjective for this, the list is endless. I'll be hanging on the mannequin or my dress form. Here I've put it on the dress form, and you can see what it's looking like when you have not drawn or laced up the drawstring. Here I'm trying to lace it up, and you can see what it looks like. Now if you take it up more, it will also go up more when you drag it up. What I used for mine is 11 inches mark. That's where I placed the drawstring, and closed up where I enclosed it. So this is what it looked like after I have finished. Are you going to try this out? Did you enjoy this tutorial? If you did, do well to give it a thumbs up, like, comment. This way I will know what you think about the video. Thank you all for always stopping by to watch my video. I do not take this for granted. I love you all, and of course I'll see you in my next one. Do well to subscribe and turn on your notification bell. I love you. Bye.